Oh, yeah, they want out. I mean, it's dangerous. I got an extra pack, so I'm using, I can use his package.
I'd like to thank everybody for being here today. We'd like to start off with the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag of the United States of America. You join in?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now, if you'll join us for a moment of silence. Excuse me. Thank you. I'd like to get a motion to go into executive session.
No.
No?
No executive session.
No? We can't? Dang it. Okay, I'll go ahead and start call to order. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes of May 5th, 2026 and May 7th, 2026?
I'll make a motion we approve.
I second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. The minutes are approved. And public requests for discussion and actions. We have a few people that have signed up. We'll start off with Jeff Hayden. Thank you, Jeff.
Morning, sir.
Morning.
Morning, Joe.
So I've been here quite a few times and heard that we're supposed to respect the process for what y'all do. And I was wondering where the process was, what it is, because we're under the title discussion and action, but we're told you won't do any discussion. So how's that respectful of the process? You know, and what, do I have 3 minutes, or can I talk to you until I get an answer, till I get some conversation, some discussion?
Yeah, we have to be respectful of everyone's time. So
Right.
we don't want to filibuster or anything like that.
That's not what I'm here for.
Yeah, I'm not going to hold the hard 3 minutes. I don't have a
Great.
problem with that. But I know there's a lot of discussion out there of, we're not having discussion when questions are brought up. But you have to realize the process that you're talking about. We have not received any testimony yet. And
Testimony
so for
is,
us to make a decision or discuss anything about what we're thinking would prejudice us. before we get testimony from the people. And that's on the 18th. So on the 18th, we've got recommendations right now from P&Z, and we just got those. So we're going to go through those. 18th, we'll get additional concerns from the people. Some of them the same, some of them different, and some positive, some negative.
Will there be discussion then?
Yes. After the 18th, I have no problem in discussing anything that you want to talk about. But up to that point, for me to discuss it would prejudice myself, and
So-
I don't want to do that.
So you couldn't tell me why we're rezoning?
Well, we're rezoning because someone requested it, but I'm not gonna prejudice myself without hearing the testimony from the people out there. All the testimony. We want to hear everybody
So
and give everybody a fair shake before any decision or any solid thought process is
That's-
put into it.
that sounds great. That sounds great. So let's talk about planning and zoning for just a second. I was there for that 11-hour meeting, okay? And I was there at the next meeting when they came to discuss what, we gave them a bunch of information. So at that meeting, the planning and zoning meeting for discussion, it didn't happen. They didn't discuss any of the issues that we brought up.
It was collective, and then they make a recommendation to us, and which they have. We have those recommendations.
So
Everybody's testimony, we have it. It's been
that's great.
it's about-
Well, I understand
it's
that you have it, and there was a lot of information there.
yes.
So are you reading that? Are you
We just got it.
contemplating any of that information?
Yes. Everything that came in with testimony then as a recommendation, and everything that we receive on the 18th will be used to make a decision on how we want to proceed.
Dude, you're
And
way better at talking about this than Mr. Schatz.
Well, I mean, we're all individuals, so I just, I refer to our legal counsel. We have to be careful what we say and what we don't say. And I just don't want to be, like I said, prejudiced to any testimony, because how can I make a decision on something that I haven't even seen the testimony of yet? That's unfair to the people that have to
You
make
did
it.
a tour, right? You've done a
That's
couple of tours.
That's collecting information. Same thing. We want to collect as much and both positive and negative of any decision we make before we make a decision. So we're
Perfect.
just trying to be responsible.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So I'm against the data center, not because of the data center,
Kind of got that.
but because it's going to take up so much land and it's going to pollute the land, the air, all of it. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Next, we have Ann Hayden. I'm sorry.
That's
Oh,
okay. Good morning.
Morning.
So let's talk about the money. So Missouri offers, from what I've researched, a 15-year exemption on sales tax, utility taxes, and use taxes. Is that true?
Who?
Missouri offers 15-year sales tax, utility tax, and use tax exemptions.
We haven't got into any negotiations, so I can't answer any questions like that because we haven't had any negotiations to answer those
Okay,
questions.
that comes directly from the Provident website. okay.
I can't control.
So-
All I can tell you is what we've been involved in. We have had no discussions or of any deals offered to us, or
So you're
We don't-
saying state law does not say that?
no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just
Oh,
saying.
you don't know.
I'm only
Okay,
speaking for
that's great.
ourselves.
Okay.
We've not sat down and had discussions on agreements, that we're gonna enter into binding agreements. We haven't had that.
Okay. That's fair. So these out-of-state workers that they're going to bus in, do you think their money's going to stay here? because we don't have the people to build these things, right? Are they going to come here? They're going to stay here for a while. Their money's going to go home from whatever state they come from. So Missouri and Franklin County aren't really going to see any benefit from that. So I'm just curious. I just am trying to figure out where the 50 million or the 40 million or the 100 million or whatever number it is today that they talk about is going to benefit the county. Where's that money coming from? Is that money going to be real estate taxes? Because my understanding is they're going to get a TIF. So if they buy agricultural land, are you going to tax them at the industrial rate? Or will they get the agricultural rate? Because we all know that's much less. So I just want to know, like, since you don't have the process yet, you don't know what you're going to do, when will we find out? When will we find out as the public where the money's coming from, where the money's going to go?
Probably the same time we will. I don't have answers to those questions.
So will you make a decision when you find that out, or will you do some research afterwards?
Once we have our evidence that we gather on the 18th, that's when we'll get into the decision-making process. We'll look at all the evidence out there, and individually we'll make a decision, and then we'll have to come to an agreement. And then after that decision, that's when any kind of negotiations or anything, the tax dollars, the breaks, and all that stuff, that's when that would occur. You have to have a decision first. We're so far from that now. It's going to be out there. It's not this month.
So the numbers that are being thrown around, are they real numbers, or are they just
I have
imaginary?
no idea. They could be basing that off of anything.
Okay. So do you think hyperscale data centers belong in residential areas?
I'm not making any decisions like that. Like I said, I'm not going to prejudice myself until I hear all the testimony from everyone.
Do you think they belong beside the nature reserve?
Same answer.
Same thing. Okay. So are you going to listen to the residents? If everybody comes and they give you testimony and they say, here's my sources, here's where I got my information,
Of course
are you
we
going to say no?
Of course we are. That's why we have that stack I told you about sitting. Well, it's now sitting on Amanda's desk, but it's literally this tall.
Oh, I
of
know. I
testimony.
brought mine out too. Yeah. Well, I have some information that I got from the Provident website that I'd like to share with you.
Sure. I've never been on their website, so I'd be happy to see it.
What's really interesting is the executive summary page that says how much money this is based on if Wisconsin was doing these, because obviously Missouri isn't doing it. This is also where I gleaned the information about the 15-year exemptions. I'm just giving you part of it. I'm not giving you all of it. You can go research it. Be a good idea. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pardon? I am Mr. Cox.
No shots.
Oh, Mr. Schatz? Yeah, you can leave one for him. Next, we have Jim Roberts.
3 minutes.
Oh, you want to? Okay. Well, I'll wait till he gets up there.
I'm getting time, but nobody else got time.
I'm just reacting to what the commissioner was asking.
Is that right?
What was the question?
I'm being time, but nobody else is being time?
Everybody gets 3 minutes.
I didn't see that.
We just forgot to turn it over.
Okay. I'd like to supply you guys a copy of these. And if you can get one today, well, since he's out. Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, my name's Jim Roberts. Y'all know me. I spoke here last time in April regarding the generally hauling abandoned landfill. So obviously, if I got 3 minutes, like, we're not going to solve anything in 3 minutes, obviously. So I'm just the packet I hand out you. Basically, I just have 10 questions that I'm requesting Franklin County answers. So, pursuant to Missouri Sunshine Law and the public's right to transparency, I, Jim Roberts, respectfully request a written response to the following 10 questions. I ask that this request and subsequent responses be entered into the official minutes of this commission and provided to me in writing at 256 Mill Springs Road, Union, Missouri, or my email, millspringsfarmllc@gmail.com, within a reasonable time frame. It is the public policy of this state and the actions and deliberations of public bodies to be open and documented for public record. So my 10 questions that I and the public would like answered is question 1. What is the commissioner's plan if this EPA's Brownfield Assessment Grant does not get approved or Senate Bill 1586 doesn't go into law? According to Jim Wild at East and West Gateway Council of Governments on October 8th, 2025, Franklin County is the owner of the generally hauling landfill parcel number 215210000003100. As you are aware, it has multiple violations of the Clean Water Act and needs addressed immediately. And then I see Exhibit 1A, which is an email from Jim Wild stating that information. Question 2. If the EPA's Brownfield Assessment Grant gets approved, do you anticipate enrolling into the Brownfield Voluntary Cleanup Program as DNR stated they expect you will? You can see Exhibit 2A. That is a copy of DNR's email to you guys regarding that. 3. Why has the County Commission not shown public support for Senate Bill 1586? This bill would simply dissolve Franklin County from liability. There was not one county commissioner that sent in testimony for this bill. And with Dave being prior president of the Senate, I mean, that's just tells me you guys don't care, because that bill would essentially take care of this issue. So when I downloaded the testimony, so if you look at Exhibit 3A, that is all the testimony that was submitted. Nobody from Franklin County submitted support for that bill. 4, this one's pretty important. Why was a memo sent out from the county's assessor office on 11/20/25 stating that, quote, this property is not to be discussed with anybody? Old landfill, no longer in use, not reclaimed, could be 100+ years before land can be used. This is concerning that the county is not notifying property owners in the area of the potential health hazards. I personally supplied test results from DNR to you guys at the last commission meeting that spoke on March 27, 2025. And you can see Exhibit 4A, and that's a copy of that memo that says where Franklin County is not to discuss this property with anybody. That's horrible. 5, as a known abandoned landfill, why has this property been sold multiple times at tax sales? Franklin County has been aware of the condition and leachate outbreak since March 18th, 1994, according to the 94 Missouri Attorney General Enforcement. You can see Exhibit 5A. The Franklin County courts were aware of this back then, so there's no excuse that Franklin County was not aware. Question 6, as a follow-up to the prior question, how was the property sold at the last tax sale for $45,000 with no disclosure? And I have the copy on see Exhibit 6A for the newspaper ad. It didn't say anything about a disclosure, and that was in the public paper. The county refused to return the money to the purchaser. This has happened not once, but 4 separate times. Then suddenly, the BOA on December 6, 2024, valued the property at $0. How does property value go from $45,000, which it sold for at the tax sale, to $0 in 4 months' time? 7, I, Jim Roberts, had a phone call with Ken Cox on May 5th, 2026 at 2:10 p.m. I'm sure you remember that conversation, Ken. During that conversation, Ken informed me that the Franklin County Commission is a part-time job and that's per state statute. Quote, look it up, unquote, is what he told me. What state statute is this? I sent you an email and I never did get a reply from that. Question 8. During that same phone call on May 5th, 2026 at 2:10 with Ken Cox, He stated he hadn't forgotten about me, but was tied up with data centers at this time. Totally understandable. In addition to his full-time job. When I reminded him that his full-time job should not impact his duties as an elected official, he followed up by stating that his full-time job pays 3 times as much and his commissioner job was a part-time job. He was also unaware that generally hauling landfill was in his district. Do you find this acceptable, Commissioner Cox? And you can see Exhibit 7A, and that's the email I sent to him that I never got a reply from.
It's not true.
Question number 9. There are numerous properties that the contaminated creek runs through from the generally hauling landfill on its way to the Merrimack River. Many owners were unaware of the contamination until I spoke with them. These owners reported that the county had raised their property taxes. Shouldn't the county be reaching out to these property owners and warning them of potential cancer-causing pollution instead of the memo that reads this property is not to be discussed with anyone and raising property taxes? Excuse me. Last I checked, polluted property is worth substantially less. And you can see Exhibit 4A, 8A, and 8B. So all those exhibits that I have is all supportive documentation to support everything I'm saying. I'm not just saying anything willy-nilly. It's all got supporting documentation with it. Question 10. Given that Franklin County originally founded and owned the landfill in 1975, does the commission acknowledge its responsibility to ensure the site's proper closure? Documented infrastructure failures are causing hazardous runoff to leak into the Merrimack River watershed, creating an escalating environmental and legally liability, not just for my farm, but for the entire region. And you can see Exhibit 9A, which just shows that Franklin County was awarded the first operating permit, and, I mean, you guys started the dump, so. So if you guys could respectfully get me written responses on these in a timely manner.
I don't see that as a problem. I don't have an answer to all these, but I do have an answer to the one statement you were making about me and the district.
Which question are you referring to?
Commissioner Overschmidt and myself personally visited that area and spoke to Miss Generally, his sister.
Yeah.
So for you to portray that we don't care or haven't been there is
I didn't say you
not
haven't
very
been there.
good
I
on
said
your
you didn't
part.
know it was in your district. When I called
So
you.
so I just went there because I just got lost and ended up there. Is that why you think
what
we
I'm
went?
saying is when I called you about it, you were not aware that this landfill was in your district.
I made you
your
aware
district,
that
too.
Commissioner Overschmidt and myself does not divide up the county into districts. We both go to concerns.
Oh, that's
we
fine,
don't say this is
but-
my district and this is your district. We go together and solve a problem. We both had different skill sets, and we've been very successful at that. So if you want to portray that as something else, that's on you. And then as far as this landfill goes, you put yourself in this situation.
I
You
put myself
purchased
there?
property next to a landfill. So when you're trying to say I'm unaware of something, of being in a district, I'm not the one that bought property next to an existing landfill that's been there since the 70s.
There was no disclosure. Franklin County didn't even tell
That's
me.
between you and your purchasing agent and
Well, I went
your
to the
land
realtor. There
and
was no
your
disclosure,
filing.
period. And then what about the memo that says this
I
piece of
can't
property
speak-
should not be discussed with
I cannot
anybody?
speak for other elected officials.
That's
The
a
assessor
sad
is an
excuse to
elected
hide
official, so those answers will have to be gathered from that elected official, and we will get these answers for you.
behind. Okay. Well,
But
while we
don't-
got the county
but don't
attorney here,
Get up
maybe
here
he can
and try
clear
and
up.
portray stuff that's not
I'm not
true.
trying to betray anything, Ken. Have you visited my farm? I invited you guys multiple times.
I have
you
no
guys
reason
never,
to visit your farm.
You have no reason
your
to
complaint was
see
the
the pollution.
landfill, and that's
Okay.
what we went and looked
Then what
into.
benefit does it have visiting another neighbor
and to
of the
say
landfill?
and to say because she's related that or generally is landfill, that was her family's landfill, her brother. That's why we went there, and she was actually outside when we approached the area. We couldn't find the landfill, the gate. We finally found a gate and it's
Right.
locked.
I mean, you're more than welcome to come on my farm and you can see my spring firsthand. That's where all these pictures came
We
from.
have no doubt that the pictures that you sent in were valid, and we've
Okay.
never done. We've signed. We've done. You portray as though we've done nothing. We've sent in requests to DNR. We signed on for the grant. I mean, those things. It's like if you don't get your way, you're like a little kid. Then you're
I'm
not
like a
doing
little
nothing
kid.
for me, and that's
You're not
true.
doing anything
We're
for
doing
me,
a lot
Ken.
of things. Oh, Okay, we're not doing nothing. We showed
I
up out
spoke
there.
here
We filled
April
out a grant
27,
for you.
2025. That was over a year ago. Nothing has been done then. The EPA grant has not been approved. You guys have not
I
sent in
can't
testimony
control
for
the
the Senate Bill
approval of the
1586 that's going to dissolve it. But if you want to call me a little kid and stuff,
Your
while the county
situation-
attorney is here, how about he answers the question? Because I'm sure you got
He
access to
doesn't have to answer anything. He
ChatGPT.
doesn't
What
work
state
for-
statute
Typically,
does it
we're not
show?
supposed to engage here at all. We're giving you a little bit of leeway, and it's getting out of
You
control.
put
So I'd like to,
yourself and your family in this situation.
I put
We
myself
didn't.
and my family.
You bought the property.
There was no disclosure, and the county knew about it, and the
That's
county
not
did
our
not
fault.
disclose it to me.
That's not our fault.
That's not your fault.
No.
So you're
When that
telling me
thing
this
was
is
put
all
in, I was in
my
high
deal.
school. And you want to sit here and blame everybody else for something you put yourself into, a situation.
It's not
you
me. This
placed
is
yourself-
poisoning the Merrimack River.
I respected your time. Now you respect mine. Or
I don't
you
gotta
can
respect
leave the
anything,
podium.
Ken.
Are you going to respect my time to say something?
If you want to answer my question,
Either leave the podium or I'll have you removed. How's that?
how about you have me removed? Why don't you listen to the state statute or tell me what the state
Your time's
statute
up.
is that says county
Your time's
commissioners
up.
part-time?
Because all
Your
you want to be
position
is
pays
argumentative.
$80,000 a year, and you're telling me you're too busy with your full-time job.
Deputy, could you help Mr. Roberts to a seat if he refuses?
Dude, this landfill's poisoning our
Thank
community.
you. We
and
appreciate
you
your
guys
testimony.
just want to go on the defense.
You can either be assisted to your seat or you can
Well, I
go
would
to your
like
own
to know
seat.
what state statute states that this is
Deputy, could you
part-time.
please assist him to his seat or out of the building? One of his choice.
do not have the authority to remove this individual with the guidance that we've been given.
That's interesting.
Anyway, could you state
Commissioner,
what state
or,
statute states that county commissioner is part-time? You told me that per Missouri state statute. Look it up.
That's my information from our legal counsel. So
Mark, could you let me know what state statute is?
There's no state statute that says it's a full-time job either.
But there's no state statute that says it's a part-time.
None
It
that
goes
says-
off
there-
of,
There's none that, hold on, you talk and then I talk.
Yep.
That's how we have a conversation.
Sounds good.
There's no statute that says it's a full-time position and it never has been.
Okay. So I guess technically they could just work 1 hour a week, and since it's not in the statute, that's
They,
acceptable.
they can work whatever time a week that they think is necessary and appropriate to carry out their duties.
I gotcha. Okay. So when Ken, like you said on the phone call, you've been tied up with data centers, your full-time job, I don't think that's acceptable. Your full-time job seems to be getting in the way of some of your duties.
I'm not
I'll
really.
take exception to that. We both put in a lot of time here for the county, a lot more than part-time, so.
And we've
I'm allowed
we've
to
been
do that.
respectful of your time. So now you're disrespecting everyone else's time here that wants to get up and speak. So
Well,
I
I've been
ask you-
disrespected this entire time because as we speak right now, I got cancer-causing chemicals coming up in my backyard where I'm trying to raise a family, and you're over here telling me I'm acting like a little kid, and I did this.
You are. You're not getting your way. So it's like no one's helping you when they are. We're trying to help you, and you're not helping your own situation.
Okay, well, tell me this. Since when I spoke April 27th or March 20, when I spoke last year, what has been done that has affected
Mark,
this?
do we just proceed this then?
I'm sorry?
We can't continue on like this. So we just
Okay.
We just,
Well,
proceed
I'll
on.
remove myself from the podium, and you guys can go on with your business. But I do expect written responses to all these. I mean, is that something you guys can do?
And Mr. Roberts, for your information, the Sunshine Law does not require the commission to answer any questions. The Sunshine Law
Is
is a production of documents law.
Mhm.
So to the extent
documents.
that the records exist, and they don't have to create any,
Mm-hmm.
if the records exist, they can answer your requests.
Okay.
But they're not required to answer written questions or oral questions or otherwise.
Oh,
It's simply the Sunshine Law says if you request a document or a record as those terms are defined, then we're required to produce them as long as they're public records. But
Okay.
that doesn't require the commissioners to answer questions. If they
Okay.
choose to do that, that's up to them, but that's not a requirement under the Sunshine Law.
Is this something you guys are willing to choose to do? Will you answer these 10 questions with the supporting documentation? Like I said, they're not just off the hip questions. These are valid questions with, you got all the supporting documentation there. Is that something you guys are willing to do?
we're gonna go by the legal counsel, so we'll do whatever we're required
We
to do.
just said you're not required, so is that, I mean, just be straight, have a backbone. Either say, no, I'm not
Nothing
gonna
to do
do
with
it.
backbone. I had no problem with answering questions.
Be a little respectful to our commission.
Yeah.
That's what I'd say.
You say what?
You've had over your 3 minutes.
So you guys aren't gonna answer the questions?
No,
You're not gonna answer them?
Our next
I
speaker
think you
is
guys should
Charlotte
resign.
Smith.
Lack of leadership, lack of backbone.
That's your opinion. That's your.
Man, it'd be a shame if cancer-causing
Welcome.
chemicals came up in your backyard where your kids play. Be a real shame, wouldn't it? You wouldn't tell me I'm acting like a little kid. Shame on
Thank you for your
guys.
time
No,
and your concerns.
fuck you, Ken.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's
really.
professional of you.
Well, we lost professionalism. And I'm gonna say something too. Your son-in-law that's running, if he wins, you should resign. There's no
Oh.
reason to have 2 family members on a 3-member council, because then you guys can run a monopoly.
Last I checked, it's the people that put people in office, not myself. So if the people want someone, the people will place them there. Next, Charlotte Smith. Thank you, Charlotte.
Thank you. Good morning, commissioners and residents of Franklin County. I have only recently found out about the Generally Hauling landfill, and I just met Jim Roberts. I am disgusted, along with other residents, that this toxic landfill is not being addressed more aggressively by the commission, the DNR, or the state of Missouri. There is a lot of finger pointing going on while Jim Roberts has been dealing with this since 2024. He has been doing the commission's and the DNR's job. He has a young family living on the property that is being poisoned, and no one seems to care, with the exception of Senator Ben Brown and Representative Brad Vanderman. And I would like to publicly thank them for stepping up and beginning the process of getting this landfill taken care of once and for all. Commissioner Cox, you had mentioned that you guys filled out that grant. But I noticed that last summer, Dave Schatz had made a comment in a Missourian article that there's probably grants out there to help with this. Last summer, 2025. It took Ben Brown to light a fire under the commission to fill out the grant before the January 2026 deadline. I understand you guys finally worked on it this January, and you did get it in time. Thank you for doing that. But it's a shame that it was mentioned last summer, and no one took any action until Ben Brown got involved.
That's two different. Ben Brown has a bill, and this grant has nothing
No,
to do with this bill.
yeah, but I
Those are
believe
two
I read
separate.
in an article that he guys kind of helped you focus on this with this bill and
We
everything
actually
that he
reached out
proposed.
we
So,
actually
yeah.
reached out to them, but irrelevant.
So, yeah. So thank God for Ben Brown and Brad Vanderman, because they're starting to get some action. Now we can only hope that the legislature will do their job and get this bill through. And I understand they only have a week or so left. So we got to pray that it'll get through so that we can get this taken care of. Because like Jim mentioned in his talk to you, that the Franklin County owns this land. You guys are responsible for it, not him. And he's been doing the legwork for 2 years on it.
Again, Franklin County does not own that property.
Well, then who does? Who owns it?
No one, to my knowledge. Mark, I don't know if you.
Then why do you guys bring it up for the tax sale every year?
The last record owner of that property is something called Lamarco LLC.
Okay. But I saw that you guys sold it in 2024 to an unsuspecting person. And I don't know all the details of that. I'm working on getting the details of that. So it's just rather interesting to me. And then, anyway, okay. So segue. This landfill is toxic. It's running into the Merrimack now, and it's affecting many people downstream, if you will. So thinking of the situation with the landfill, it makes me think about the data centers. And I am opposed to the data centers, by the way. And I think of that because of there's no financial way to take care of this landfill right now. We're working on trying to help you get funds and things. But if these data centers go in, there needs to be some kind of financial assurance instruments like bonds or trust funds so that put in place so that the county and the residents aren't going to be on the hook footing the bill to clean these things up when it comes time for that. So that's something seriously to think about because you've got this serious landfill mess now. And it's been going on since '93, I understand that. He illegally dumped for a few years. And so it's been going on since '93 at least, that no one's messed with this landfill. And now it's toxic.
In my understanding, the landfill it existed back in the 70s.
Yes,
so,
it did. It
yeah.
started in the '70s, but the man who owned it last was illegally dumping for a few years, from '91 to '93, and no one seemed to know about it, which...
I think there was more than one. One of the owners is out of this country in Belize.
Right.
Our last.
And he took
track.
off so that he wouldn't be, held
But
responsible.
in respect for everyone else's time, are you about finished with your?
Yeah, the main, I wanted to make sure that you guys understand that we don't want another situation
We don't either.
with the data centers causing the same issue where it's going to take, whose funds are going to be paying for these to be cleaned up when it comes time for that. So that's what I've got. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Charlotte.
Thank you.
Next, we have Twyla Ashworth.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Are any of you commissioners listening to the people who elected you into office? Last week, two gentlemen spoke with you about a problem that has existed in their subdivision for some time. People have made comments about problems with the landfill. I have posed questions to you about who are we going to call if there are problems with the data center complex if it's approved. And I am opposed to the data centers, both of them. My point is this: isn't it part of your job to protect Franklin County residents from situations like this? Isn't it your job to conduct research and due diligence in protecting our environment and our health by mandating environmental impact studies by proper authorities free of political and developer influence? Isn't it your job to recuse yourself from making decisions on projects that you personally stand to considerably profit from? Your job should be more than just making decisions on projects only. You should be listening to the people who voted for you and put you into the office you hold. Last week, St. Charles political leaders were in the news because they are listening to their residents, and they are now considering a complete ban of data centers in St. Charles County. I commend them for that. We are asking you to solve the problems currently existing in Franklin County and to listen to the residents who voted for you who are opposing both Diamond Farms and Crooked Creek data centers. It is a fact that hyperscale data centers are heavy industry. It is your responsibility to write redistricting and rezoning platforms to secure the integrity of our county land, not just clear the way for developers to swoop in under permitted use for such heavy industrial projects. The only ones who win are the billion-dollar firms and companies making all the profit at the risk of all Franklin County residents, as well as our entire state.
Thank you.
For Commissioner Shafts, I just leave it here.
Yeah. Want to make sure he gets it.
Thank you.
And I guess the point you brought up about the incident or the concern, that's a private development. We have no authority over that development. So that's why they have some of those issues there. We have zero authority there. Sure.
I don't want to argue, but, I feel sorry for him because it's very easy when things are not disclosed after you purchase a piece of property and then you have all these problems. And when a person comes to you, not just with the landfill, but with the two gentlemen who were here last week regarding the problem in their subdivision, who should they go to then? I mean, you are an elected official, we voted for you, we look to you to help when there's problems, and I can understand why they would be so upset when nobody out there seems to want the help.
We
And
have to work within the laws that are of this state, so we can't supersede those laws. They chose to be a private subdivision, and that we don't have the authority to come in there to change that.
But if there's problems in a subdivision, you call the police and the police don't come. I mean, surely you can
The
understand.
sheriff's department did
those kinds
respond.
of situations where, my concern is, who are we gonna call if this data center goes in and there's problems? We could find ourselves as a bunch of residents living next door to this
A
data
data
center.
center is not a private subdivision, so
I'm not, okay,
you're
but I'm
conflicting the
still
two.
saying that if there's problems in the future, we could still be in the same situation where nobody's gonna help us. And surely there's somebody out there, either at the state level or county level, who can help these people and help us too if something goes down. That's
We
all
provide
I'm
all the
saying.
help that we can and stay within the law. So that's what we have to abide by. There's a lot of things I'd like to do, but
Well, there needs to
we're
be somebody
tied,
who can
we're-
help people, in situations like this, because it just kind of seems like,
can't do it.
it kind of seems like a brush off.
It's not.
Not
I
trying to be
don't.
disrespectful, but I'm just
I
saying.
didn't write the state laws.
Okay, well, I just wanted to say that. Thanks.
Thank you. So next we have Corbett Shannon.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
The quiet tension in this room is not misinformation, as has been disrespectfully alleged by Mr. Backus of Provident. It is rightful concern. It is people, gentlemen, your constituents, looking at their future and wondering if they still have a place in deciding it. What's before you in these proposals is not routine. It is a line, and once crossed, there is no going back. We do not have to imagine what comes next. There is plenty of proof. In Altoona, the promises came first, then realities followed. Higher demand on resources, constant noise, and land desecrated forever. Hardworking people were sold out by a corrupt city council. In Loudoun County, Virginia, industrial scale noise, where quiet once lived, and residents still trying to realize and reclaim what was decided around them. Honest citizens sold out by a predatory board of supervisors. Altoona shows how it starts, gentlemen. Loudoun County shows how it ends. The only question here is before you two. Where do you choose to stand today? Please picture this issue not as potential tax revenue, as Commissioner Cox, that's all he talks about is potential tax revenue. Let's look at this as people. Picture a Franklin County family sitting at their kitchen table, trying to understand what these proposals mean for their home, for their land, for their legacy, for the place that their ancestors chose because it was quiet and because it was their slice of heaven. And then those same citizens of this fine county realizing they were never truly part of that decision. It was made for them by a greedy banker from Washington and two out-of-town carpetbaggers. Gentlemen, that is how trust breaks, quietly and permanently. Benjamin Franklin said, "Well done is better than well said." Gentlemen, this is not about what has been promised by dishonest, money-hungry developers. It is about what will be done. And I ask you here today, what will you do to protect us? There has been zero engagement from the developers with the citizens. None. Require that scrutiny now for the people. Require that Mr. Backus and Mr. Sanders stand before the people of this county, not behind applications, not behind process, and not hiding behind their hired gun mercenary attorneys, but in open town halls before the people of this county, where the citizens ask the questions and honest answers must be given by the developers, where transparency is not optional, it is required. Gentlemen, you can require that they meet the people now. And if they will not meet the people, then there's no way that they should meet your approval. Mr. Franklin also warned us, quote, "It takes many good deeds to build a good reputation and only one bad one to lose it," end quote. This decision before you carries that weight because this is not just about land. It is about whether citizens still believe this is their county. Gentlemen, we're asking you, be our warriors. And today, the only way to do that is to say no. No to moving faster than the truth. No to decisions that cannot be undone. And generations from now, people will not remember the agenda or the timeline, but whether their voices mattered and were heard or ignored. Please do not let silence be the answer that we remember. I am praying for each of you that you protect what has been entrusted to you. Vote no. Gentlemen, we need you to be honorable men and stand with us. And I will say, Commissioner Cox, throughout this entire process, this is the first communication that has come from the commission to people assembled here to take time out of their day on a Tuesday morning. And I commend you for that. Thank you for having the spine, for having the courage and the honor. Instead of what we're used to here every Tuesday, you have 3 minutes, and when you approach 15 seconds, tap, tap, oh, your time is over, next. Actually, some give and take and some conversation and some discussion. And these are very important matters. And I'm just astounded and actually saddened that it has taken this long. These proposals came about in January. It's May. It has taken this long for this esteemed governmental body to engage with its citizens in a forum like this. And on May 18th, it's my understanding that it's going to be the same, just the one-way communication and no conversation, no give or take. So where's the town halls? Where are these developers? Why would they not speak in front of us? Beltline actually spoke at a town hall in Kansas, Pottawatomie County, earlier this month. And only because people found out that it was supposed to be a closed meeting and it blew up on social media. And next thing it's, oh, well, we'll have a town hall. And at that town hall, Ryan Sanders of Beltline encounters a gentleman who's making comments that he does not like, and he pulls them, tries to take the microphone from him, and then goes over and pulls the plug out of the wall after he's thrown a temper tantrum. At least those folks got at least some sort of FaceTime with these vultures. We haven't received any of that. And gentlemen, it's in your power. I talked to Commissioner Schatz here after the April 28th meeting for 1 hour, and he told me he would speak with both of you about town hall meetings. Has that conversation taken place, Commissioner Cox?
We actually brought that up, yes.
Okay.
We brought it up,
Yes, sir. Any action
And-
on that request?
yes, and that's why I stated earlier, after the 18th, and once we get testimony and hear from the people, I'll be more than happy. I can only speak for myself. I'll be more than happy to attend town hall meetings and discuss things openly. But for me to do that prior to that, hearing from the people, it's going to prejudice any decision I make.
Gotcha, sir.
And I don't want to do something that's outside the bounds of the law.
Understood. Commissioner Oberschmidt, are you going to commit to that same statement that Commissioner Cox just
I'll
made?
agree with what Ken just said right there. After we get the meetings behind us, we're available to talk about it.
Yes, sir. Does that mean requiring the developers, Mr. Backus, Mr. Sanders, here at an open town hall, a series of town halls to answer questions? Is that what we're discussing?
I can't promise that. I don't control them. No, obviously we could suggest that strongly to them, but we don't control what they do.
Is there any way, Commissioner, that you can compel them to? Mr. Piontek, is there anything that the county can do to compel these developers who want to ruin this county? They want to make these proposals and then just step behind behind a curtain and say, well, here's the proposals. They speak for themselves, which are a joke. And then they don't want to have any town halls. There's no discussion. There's no conversation. There's no nothing. Is there anything that the county can legally do, Mr. Piontek, to get them here in this county in front of the citizens, in front of the commission, to answer questions?
They will have to be here for the public hearing, but aside from that, we don't have any authority to compel them to show up at a town hall or any other meeting.
So it would be the county would request their presence and they could say, yes, we accept that invitation, or no, we don't.
Correct.
But it doesn't stop us from sharing what, if anything had been discussed at that time with them. We can discuss that with you. I have no problem.
Do you
Discussing.
gentlemen on the commission here have any problem with 2 out-of-state developers coming to this county, dropping their proposals on the table and then just saying, oh, but we're not going to talk about it? Yes or no?
I don't know I don't,
That's not what's happening.
yeah, that's.
What's happening then, Commissioner Overschmidt? Can you explain? Can you elaborate, please? Can
No,
we
I
get
can't.
You cannot.
No, I can't.
When will you elaborate? When will you explain? When will
I just
you?
told you. After we have this meeting, we'll be able to talk about it.
Yeah, we just need to remain civil with each other and have civil discussions and intellectual discussions.
Has anything that I've
come-
said, has anything that I've
No,
said here been
but
less
whether
than civil
people
or not
come,
intellectual?
whether people come from out of state, in state, out of county, in county, if they're willing to make an investment in this county, we have to look at that.
I understand.
And in some investments, like you said, maybe they're not inducive to the county, and we would consider that and say, yes, no, thank you. But there's other ones that maybe are good for the county. But we can't exist in a bubble, obviously. So if someone comes in wanting to spend money, we have to look at that. It doesn't mean we're going to approve anything.
I understand that, sir. And again, I do appreciate at least hearing the commission say that, because to this point, we've heard nothing. And commissioners, when the citizens don't hear anything, it does become a vacuum, and you can look at social media, you can look at what's being put in the media. People rise to their own assertions, whether accurately or inaccurately. And I think, gentlemen, you could do a far better job of communicating, this is how the process on May 18th, here's what we're doing. There will be other meetings here, or here. We will hold town halls. That would help tamp this down and bring the temperature down a lot. I mean, going forward, gentlemen, can we just get more guidance from our elected officials on, yes, we do have to hear these proposals. Yes, we are listening to what you're saying. And yes, here's how the process is going to go. Because right now, the unknown, people, they're rightfully concerned. And as I mentioned at the beginning of my comments here today, after the initial proposal, Mr. Backus of Providence wrote this commission a letter and just said, this is basically just all misinformation that people just dig up on Google. I mean, the arrogance of that comment should just tell you right there, the men that you were dealing with that are making these proposals, they have no honor, they have no code. They're corporate raiders. They want to decimate and exploit this county and then just move on. I mean, Beltline is already, your own Planning and Zoning Commission, a no vote, a no recommendation. Well, we'll just go ahead and move on down to Oklahoma. We'll just go ahead and move on down to Kansas. They're locusts. They go from county to county to county, and they try and take a turd, throw it against the wall, and if it sticks, great. If it doesn't, they go, oh, well, we'll go somewhere else. And meanwhile, they have torn this county apart. Decades-long relationships have been ruined. People who no longer want to talk to one another because of data centers. Folks that they've gone to school with since the time they've been little children, they don't even want to be in the same room anymore. And it's because these two vultures have come from Texas and Georgia and said, hey, this looks like a great spot to put 2 data centers and decimate one of the most beautiful counties in the entire state. And we've heard very little from our commission on this. I mean, gentlemen, I'm asking you going forward, can you please just give us more? Is there more communication that you can give us to let us know where the process is? And
I can only speak for myself. We don't control other elected officials, so each elected official has to choose their own path and how they want to pursue that and answer questions. But
okay.
Like I said, I've already been open that once we are able, I may not like you. You have to realize we may not like the process either.
Okay.
We're a victim of the process. I didn't write the state statutes. I didn't write the laws. I just have to exist within them. So, and I try to do that to the best of my ability, and I'm sure Commissioner Overschmidt's doing the same thing.
Right.
So it's tough on us too.
Right.
So we're just trying to do what's right. We want to hear everyone out. That's our political process. Everyone gets an opinion, whether it's good or bad. If these people come in from somewhere else and have an opinion, that's the political process. We can't deny. I won't deny anybody's right to say something.
Correct. That's not what I'm asking. That's not what
I
I'm
served 10 years in the military to protect those rights overseas in the
Yes,
Middle
sir.
East. And I would be the last person to try and take that away from someone, because that would invalidate all the effort that I put in, and that's important to me, our freedoms. So if someone has a negative opinion, okay, that's their right to say it. If they have a positive opinion, that's that person's right to say it. And we shouldn't attack that person for saying that. Either way, negative or positive, we should respect their right to say what they want to say.
And
as long as
Commissioner,
it's
I
not
agree
damaging,
100%. I agree
someone
100%
else.
with everything you're saying, and that's not what I was asking. I was asking if, as a commission, in your conversations with these developers that you would strongly recommend, if you can't compel or whatever the legal word that might
Yeah.
be, if you could strongly recommend, gentlemen,
I already agreed to that.
I
that-
suggest you need to be up here. We're going to have a series of town halls, and you need to face the people who you said this is going to benefit. I mean, it seems very disingenuous to me that they would stand up and say, Mr. Backus says it on his website. There is a quote on there that says, we work with local governments, we work with the people to ensure a win-win, and we are known for actually taking in people's voice into consideration. What a PR spin bunch of hot pile of
I
garbage.
purposely don't get on their website.
I'm glad you don't, because, sir, it's just nothing but PR spin that's basically just covering their exploitation. They target rural areas like Franklin County. They are predatory. So does Beltline. They go and they say, where can we look and see where there's a planning and zoning or a board of aldermen or wherever, and just target and pick them off and have them sign non-disclosures, which are just so disingenuous to an open process. They should be illegal in the state of Missouri, that they have elected officials sign these NDAs and say, here's what we want to propose, but if Bill comes and knocks on your door tomorrow morning, you can't discuss that with him because, well, by the way, you signed an NDA.
We're not bound by any non-disclosure.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. So, gentlemen, I mean, I'm asking here simply for today, after the 18th, if you could have your conversations with these developers and say, hey, we're strongly recommending that you get up here, have your say, and let's have you answer questions from the people. And I mean honest answers, not what their attorney tells them to say, not what their PR spin website creator has put up there, that people ask questions about their water, wildlife, health, safety, property values, and they provide honest answers. And gentlemen, when they don't, I'm hoping you guys are taking notes. You said, Commissioner, that you don't control the process. You didn't write the statute. But what you gentlemen do control here is, after you've listened to their group of lies that are easily debunked with just very minimal research. They say revenue of this, that's debunked. They say it's not going to affect the water pollution, the wildlife, that's quickly debunked. After you gentlemen have heard their lies, I would strongly hope that you would say, you know what, these are not the folks we want to be doing business with, and you're out. We're voting no. Please, I'm asking you to do that.
I can assure you that we're not going to take anyone's opinions or what they call facts as factual to ourselves. We're going to look into it, and we're going to research it the best we can.
Fair enough, Commissioner. I appreciate the conversation, sir, and thank you for your service to our county. Commissioner Oberschmidt as well. Thank you for this dialogue. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Corbett.
Have a good day.
Next, we have Dana Bowers.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning, Dana.
Morning.
Well, the irony behind the conversation that's been happening over the last half hour is very interesting, since I wrote what I wrote several days ago with the intention of trying to have discussion with you guys. I was actually going to tell you to get your pencils ready, because I had 3 questions for you, and I was going to expect you to answer them, possibly not during the meeting, but afterwards. So since we're having discussion, this is amazing. And I commend you for that. Thank you for actually having open dialogue.
And again, we're very limited on what we can answer, because you have to have answers. We don't have all the answers because we
I understand
haven't
that.
got the concerns from
And
all
that's
the people.
actually why I wrote what I wrote for today. For months now, people have been slinging personal attacks on each other throughout this entire community. Some of which have been obviously directed to you two, as well as shots. Myself, I personally have not made any personal attacks on any of the 3 of you individually, other than stating one fact that's very obvious, the conflict of interest on Dave's part that has yet to be addressed. I do not find that to be a personal attack, though. I do find that to be publicly stating factual information. So, I stand here today to tell everyone on the record that the individual attacks on our neighbors and our local officials, you guys, it's got to stop. It's causing so much division in our community, and it's not helping. The mental, emotional, and financial strain and stress on this community that has been created, this has been caused by 2 big tech companies, Provident and Beltline. These are the snakes that have slithered into our community underneath a rock behind our backs. So our verbal and emotional frustrations should not be pointed 100% towards these gentlemen here or towards any of our neighbors or our friends or our family. It needs to be directly pointed towards those cowards that have come in and the individuals that represent them. I've had private conversations with all three of the commissioners individually, and I'm going to repeat what I have said to all three of them in front of everyone and on the record. As the profound Charlie Kirk always said, when people stop talking, that's when we have violence. Violence comes in different fashions. It comes in mental, emotional, verbal, and physical violence. But silence as a whole still incites some sort of violence within our community. Unfortunately, we have seen the verbal violence at its highest level I've ever seen in this county in my entire life. And I feel it's due to the fact that there has been silence on the part of the commissioners being able to speak. I understand you're trying to follow the law. I get that. I've had conversations with you gentlemen. I understand. But after the May 18th meeting, I am praying that violence within our community, because of the silence, stops so that we can start having this type of discussion and communication. I am not one to just stand up and complain about things, though. I want to offer you a resolution. Just speak up like you did today. Like I said, I wrote this several days ago, so to actually hear you guys have communication and discussion literally kind of hit the nail on the head. You can offer a response to the public, which is the same that you've given me for weeks now, personally. We do not know. It's 4 simple words. You don't know. You don't have the information that we've been asking for because you don't have it. You can't give it to us. That's all you had to do, just like you did a few minutes ago, is just tell us that. Tell everybody that on the record. You guys don't even have the business plan. You don't have the tax structure. You don't know where the money is going to come from. You don't know what type of damage these infrastructures could do to these pieces of land. You don't know that because you don't even have that information from these guys. So we keep asking of that from you. 4 words, we do not know. And I appreciate you and commend you for actually saying that today. Thank you.
Thank you.
On that note, I want to address one thing. The definition of discussion is conversation, exchange of ideas, or a debate among people regarding a specific topic, often aimed at reaching a decision, understanding, or exploring solutions to a problem. These weekly commission meetings are listed as discussion/action meetings. So, again, I was going to ask of you today to please, let's just discuss. So I appreciate what you've been doing. I do have 3 quick questions. When you refer to the tax structure and the 80-20 allocation, are you referring to the Missouri 144.810, the Missouri 100.050, a proposed Chapter 100 pilot agreement, or is there a separate developer agreement that we, the people, have not been made aware of that has been brought to the table to you guys by these developers?
We don't have any agreements.
You have nothing? Okay. So the taxes that they're referring to that we will be receiving, we don't even know where that would even come from at this point in time.
This is a reach on my part, but I'm sure it's based on their past experiences. It's no agreements that they have currently with us. I can tell you that.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to clarify that. Number 2, it's quite obvious that, don't take this personally, our county attorney does not have the background in or the educational capacity to handle this extreme complexity of this magnitude. This is a massive potential life-altering infrastructure, and the complexity is overwhelming. So why have we not done him a favor, as well as the entire county, and tried to retain an external law firm to assist in handling these potential projects?
We've actually been looking into that. We have made no action on it.
Thank you for that answer. Number 3, under Section 610, .020.2, public meetings are supposed to be held at a place that's reasonably accessible to the public and at a time reasonably convenient to the public, unless good cause makes that impossible or impractical. So I'm asking you, could you please explain to me on the record how you feel that the currently scheduled May 18th meeting time, and I ask this with there being a set hard 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. cutoff for people to turn in speaker cards, how is that reasonably convenient to the entire public under the Missouri Sunshine Law?
You want my personal opinion, or you
Yeah,
want the
well-
commission's answer?
I'd like both.
Well, my personal opinion is I think people should have the right to say what they want to say when they want to say it. The commission, as a commission, we've came to the point through control of time. Nobody wants to be there till 4 o'clock in the morning. That you have to place limits, and a lot of these are based on past experience. Some experiences I haven't had. It's just been handed down to us. But that was the agreement that came up at the time. That's why it exists as it does. It was a decision by the commission and I guess the recommendation and the data that was given to us based on past meetings and such.
Okay, is there a potential of having additional meetings? I know you already answered Corva's question about the town halls, which I think would be amazing. Or would there be a potential of possibly allowing those individuals that can't make the 8 to 9 a.m. cutoff be able to come in and maybe between 4 and 5 p.m., turn in speaker cards then so that they could speak as well? Because there are people who have families, who have jobs, like they can't make that time. They want to speak, but they can't make that specific time to sign a speaker card to be able to speak, and then not knowing when they're going to be able to speak during that time frame.
I think that's why we stated that we're willing to do these town halls before decisions made.
Okay. And that would
So we'll
give the
get
people
more
who
input
were
from
able to
people
make
and-
that meeting
and
the
have a
opportunity
one-to-one
to be able to
discussion.
come. Okay, and I appreciate that.
And people could turn in their written testimony also.
Yeah.
So, and we have that.
Because you could turn it
It's
in.
a lot.
I'm sorry?
It's a lot.
Oh, I know.
I will leave you with this. I want to just state the fact that we have Missouri state statutes, 49.650 under Chapter 89, to stand on within this county. That does give us a right to vote on this issue. Can we please utilize it? Thank you.
Again, I'm not an attorney.
Thank you.
We have to rely on our attorneys and our legal professionals for that. Thanks, Dana. Next, we have Patricia Shunk? How did? Shuba. Sorry. I didn't see the A there.
Good morning. Thank you,
Morning.
Commissioners.
Morning.
First, I want to say thank you to all the residents who are here today. I think it's amazing that we're actually engaging on these issues. We elect you, and I think it's important that you hear from the public. So thank you for providing this opportunity during your weekly meetings to listen to the public. And that actually today, as was pointed out, you're taking comments and actually interacting with the public. I came this morning to ask for accommodations at the hearing, and a few people have touched on that. But actually, there's an opportunity to both accommodate the schedule of the commission so that it's not an all-day, all-night kind of affair, but also give the opportunity for anyone in the public who wants to weigh in on this, because I do feel like your responsibility, your primary responsibility is to the public, not to corporations coming to the county looking for zoning code changes. And actually, RSMO 610.020.2 has that exact language about each meeting shall be held at a place reasonably accessible to the public and of sufficient size and accommodate the anticipated attendance by members of the public and at a time reasonably convenient to the public unless for good cause, such as a place of time is impossible or impracticable. I have had the honor and privilege to testify at many hearings, and some of them have been federal hearings. I've flown to DC to testify in front of the EPA. And at that time, what the EPA does and other state and federal agencies is they allow a time for the public to sign up that's bracketed. So my time on the 28th of May to speak about coal ash regulations and their rollback is between 2 and 4 o'clock Eastern time. So I can take time off from work to actually be available during that time. I don't know exactly when I'll be able to testify, but I know it's between 2 and 4 o'clock. I feel like most people, and the people I'm hearing from the county, are not available to get here by 8 a.m. and before 9 a.m. to sign up a card, a physical card, and then be available at any time during the day to testify. One of those is a member of our community who's a dairy farmer, and she's got a large family, and she lives in Villa Ridge. She'll be impacted by this. And on that morning, she has to milk her cows. She's got to get her kids to where they need to be. And she's directly impacted. She's one of those people that should be here or have an opportunity to be here. And I understand that we can submit written testimony, but if you have a stack as large as you've told me, I can't imagine you can get through all of that, or that you can see the faces of your constituents and their concern. So I would ask you, and actually honestly extend a hand, please provide an opportunity for people to sign up. I don't know if that's possible to do before Monday, but to allow people to sign up online and say, yes, I want to testify. That gives you a chance to know how many people will be here. And if it's unreasonable that you're looking at 100 and something people wanting to testify, that you can break that up into separate meetings that are reasonable. And I think that's what we deserve. This whole process, my understanding is it started in December of last year with one of the companies coming to you for an NDA. We're asking for the opportunity to speak to you directly, and we trust that you have the interest of the public at heart. I really do believe that, even though we often stand up and say, no, that's not what we believe. Here's some information we want you to consider. We have to believe that you have the interest of us at heart, our farmers, our farmland, the people who've lived here for generations. Mine have been here 5 generations in eastern Franklin County. And I'm worried, and I want you guys to stand up for us, and you have this opportunity to do that. I also wanted to extend my concern for Mr. Roberts. It's very hard when you're feeling like someone is coming straight at you and threatening your family to try to stay reasonable in a conversation to ask for your support. But I feel like it's your place to extend that to him, to be considerate of his concerns and needs. And actually, you had mentioned that there is no state law, but there is. There's a disclosure law about pollution of anyone who owns that property. They are, under state law, they're required to disclose that before purchase. So I would, everybody step back, take a breath, and say, this is our responsibility to represent the public. It's the public's responsibility to engage. That's why we're all here today. I'm supposed to be working, but I'm here. And I'm grateful for all these people who could take the time to be here. And I know there are thousands of us concerned about this that want to be in front of you and express that and have your concern be represented for us in this decision. I also want to add that I'm a little confused about when we get interaction with you and legally get representation with you. A hearing is a legal thing. It's on the record. That's all that really matters legally. So I would say the time is not after the hearing to engage with us, but before hearings. If you can establish a hearing after this one and engage in a town hall and actually legitimately take comment from the public on the record, that protects you. That protects you in your decision on the data centers. So when we were engaging with the PNC, we were told we can't talk to you. We're being legally advised not to talk to you because the hearing is closed. So if Monday the hearing closes, I don't feel confident that you're actually really going to consider our comments. You legally don't have to, and you're going to be advised to that. So please think through those things, get additional counsel, talk to experts because this is a big decision for all of us. I know you both live here. You've lived here for a very long time and your families have. This is about all of us. So thank you for listening today. And I hope that you will consider having additional hearings, that you'll allow us to sign up for those times so that more people can participate, so that they don't have to be here the entire time and wonder when they're going to be able to testify. Is that something you feel like is reasonable and that you can accomplish for us?
I'm one vote. So as a commission, we have to make a decision as a whole. And I've already stated my,
But this is a procedural question. It's about how we hold our hearings in the county.
that's probably more of a legal question then. I'm not
No,
an
it's a
attorney.
commission. It's a commission question. And you're being advised by your attorney.
I would suggest to the commission that they not respond to that question.
Of course you would, Mark. You're definitely right. Do you represent the county or who do you represent?
Thank you, Patricia.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Off work and coming in here. Next, we have is it Thomas. Thomas, yeah.
Thomas.
Tom.
Yep. Tom. Wife calls me much worse most of
Well,
the time.
We've probably all been there. But
Yeah. Yes, gentlemen, we have. Good morning, Franklin County. Good morning, commissioners. Well,
good morning.
afternoon. Let's talk about leadership. Yeah, leadership, loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. I mean, it's worked for a 4-star, 5-star general, secretary of defenses, and everything. Loyalty, bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution, the Army, your unit, and other soldiers, in this case, the nation and the people. Duty, fulfill your obligations, carry out all tasks to the best of your abilities. Pretty straightforward. Respect. Treat people as they should be treated, recognizing the dignity of all individuals. Selfless service. Put the welfare of the nation, the Army, in this case, the people, and your subordinates above your own. Honor. Live up to the values, legally, morally, embody them in daily life. Integrity. Do what is right, legally, morally, and ethically, even when no one is watching. Personal courage. Face fear, danger, adversity, both physically and morally, to persevere. A couple other things that need to be added on there. Empathy. Be able to look through other people's eyes, feel what they are feeling before you make any decision. Engagement. A lot of this stuff today could have been prevented if we just have the double-way engagement, the to and from. Reaching out to Mr. Roberts. When was the last time you were reached out to?
Man, I'm reached out to every day.
All right, well, back and forth canter,
Well, not by the commission, they don't reach out, but
Even if it's just an email, we're still waiting to hear something back and forth, kind of alleviate a little bit of stress in the process. Same thing with everyone else. Answer their emails. Back and forth communication. In archaeology, we call that the sex of minds. Took us from caves to funny little TikToks and all that with the avatar faces and little cat faces and all that stuff, right? Another thing, accountability. Take ownership of decisions, actions, and outcomes, both positive and negative. So, like I said, a lot of people here just want the back and forth. They want answers. I mean, yeah, you can't give them answers most of the time. It's just give them what you know best to your knowledge. We have heard no contracts, yes, in between Beltline and all of them. No contracts. I'm just curious of where we popping all these numbers off of 50, 200 million, same thing, like his case, grants and all this stuff, EPA grants. Yeah, we did the Brownfield grant. That's just an assessment. To get better grants than that, we need a plan of action. Has the county even came up with a plan of action for this landfill issue? Are we just going to keep pushing it off to the next person? You know, things kind of build up after a while if you keep pushing it off, right? It didn't start with some poor Richardry in the beginning. I'm sorry, but I will go ahead and finish with it. Hear reason, or she'll make you feel her. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Next, we have John Rose.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Thank you for interacting with the people today. It's good to see that. We really appreciate that, and we want to see more. I'm just going to keep it pretty short and simple. It's I kind of back everything that's been said here today. I'm really here to speak against the data centers. We don't want them. As you're our local representatives, and your primary duty is to safeguard the health, safety, and well-being of Franklin County. We don't want the data centers here. There's too much risk, and I'm sure you've got a stack of papers this big that you'll see, and I know your heads haven't been in the sand and seen what's going on, so I just urge you to read it and protect us. We don't want them. And just to think about this leaking site that we have, I worry about contamination of the Merrimack River. It's leaking on this site, going into creeks, I guess.
Documented, yeah, I can give you a packet. Documented from DNR, leak going into the Merrimack River.
We have many, many people that use that for recreation, and we worry about the mussels, the salamanders, but ourselves. That's something we really need to look into. I mean, we got to stop that. That's a beautiful river. It's clean. It needs to be addressed. I went through Coldwater Creek. I know what it can do, and I don't want to see the Merrimack River from Coldwater Creek. So it needs to address. I just ask you, just make the right decisions for us to protect the people in Franklin County. We need to protect our farms, the endangered species, Merrimack River, Shaw's Garden, and the people. I just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Next, we have Rachel Maxwell.
Hello, Commissioners.
Hello.
Morning.
Let's see. My main point is also about Monday. I feel like there needs to be options for our community, either have it broken up into different days or different time frames. So personally for me, I'll be able to sign up, but then I have to leave for a doctor's appointment and then come back. So I was told it's going to be the commissioners, at the commissioner's discretion if they call absent names. And I would recommend to call anybody that's absent, like at the end of each file, and then again at the end of the hearing at the very least, if it can't be split up into days or times, because everyone has their own, issues. So I would just like kind of to get that in order for Monday. I would really hope that in the information gathering, not just for the data centers, or not just visiting the data centers, but also local farms, any of the DNR commissions, the fire departments, any of that to gain information beforehand. There was also last week the economic developer or economic development director from Washington and the U.S. Economic Development Administration. And I know you have to balance any money that's coming into the county with, the residents' needs. I attached in my paperwork for Monday, what I referenced last week, the Jefferson County Health Department guidance concerning environmental public health impacts of data centers. So I would implore you to read that and for there to be information both before and after this meeting on Monday. Let's see. Yeah, if we can get like this economic development, if we can find $5,000 in the budget for that, I feel like, and there's going to be this whole thing between us, Franklin County, St. Charles, St. Louis County. If there's going to be this document on how we move forward over the next 5 to 10 years, I feel like all of this needs to be kind of put in place now. All this talking, the health consequences, kind of in line with the economic stability of the county, that it can't be one or the other. We need to take both sides into consideration. Yeah, so whenever that memorandum of understanding is signed, I feel like that should be really public so that, you know, we can have a say in how we want the economic future of our county. So yeah, please talk about Monday and options for our community. I think that's the main thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. And with that, that concludes all of our speakers this morning. Next, we'll get into action items of our commission orders. 2026, TAC 125, the matter of awarding bid number 2026, TAC 21, the South Annex renovation, juvenile office to Jasper's Buildings.
I'll make a motion, we approve that.
I second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Commission order 2026, TAC 125 is passed. Next, we have Commission Order 2026, TAC 126, in the matter of approving and authorizing execution of a financial assistance subaward agreement with East West Gateway Council of Governments. I'm not familiar with this one. Mark, are you?
This is for the sheriff's office. They spoke to us last week at the workshop.
That's the one I missed, I guess. I ask for a motion if you.
Give me just a moment here. I'm just reading through this. The 1-year term.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks like an award of $27,600 with a performance period for the agreement with East West Gateway from May 1st, 2026 through August 31st, 2027. And it's shown in the subaward agreement attached here too.
I'll make a motion, we approve.
I second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. Commission Order 2026, TAC 126 is passed. Commission Order 2026, TAC 127, in the matter of approving and authorizing the renewal of a service contract with Vanguard Appraisals Incorporated.
I'll make a motion, we approve.
I second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. Commission Order 2026, TAC 127 is approved as written. Commission Order 2026, TAC 128, in the matter of approving the consent agenda and all items listed thereon. Typical liquor licenses. Looks like a lot of liquor license. Notary commissions.
Yep. I'll make a motion, we approve.
I second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. Commission Order 2026, TAC 128 is approved as written. That concludes the commission orders, discussion items, and reports. Do we have any elected officials out there that would like to speak? No? How about department heads? Do we have any department head reports that would like to speak? No. How about commission discussion? Do you have anything you'd like to
I don't have anything.
discuss, Commissioner Overschmidt? With that, I will go ahead and look for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
I second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. We're